Hey guys, so today we're on 11.5, and 11.5 is our last lesson in chapter 11, by the way. In 11.5, we will be problem solving, so we'll be able to use this strategy, draw a diagram to solve the angle measurement problems. So here we're working with Marisol, and Marisol is building a frame for a sandbox, but the boards she has are too short. She must join two boards together to build a side as shown. So here's two boards put together. At what angle did she cut the board first, or the first board? So if you can see over here, we have the second board's measurement, but we don't have the first board's measurement. So we need to find how big HJ is. We know that JK is 55. So what do we need to find? What is the measure of angle JHL? Or HJL. HJL. And what information are we going to use? We're going to use that the angle, we know that HJK, you can see that this is a straight line, and you know that a straight line is 180 degrees. So HJK is 180 degrees. And that angle LJK is 55 degrees. So LJK is 55. We know that HJK is 180 degrees. So we just need to figure out how much this space is. So we are going to, how are you going to use this information? We are going to draw a diagram. So we could use a bar model. We could do anything like that. I like a bar model because I think it makes the most sense for this problem. So in the bar model, I know that we obviously have the full thing is 180 degrees. We know that at least half of it, almost half, or this is 55 degrees, but we need to figure out how much this side is. So we know that we could subtract 180 minus 55 to get a total of 125. So the first board, or angle HJL equals 125 degrees, because we knew that this side was 155 degrees, and we know that the whole thing's 180. So when you subtract the both of them, you figure out the missing piece. Describe how you can check your answer. You could just add 55 and 125, and you should get 180. Go to the next page, on page 437. At the top, it says Laura cuts a square out of scrap paper as shown. What is the angle measure of the piece left over? So first we're going to draw a bar model. What we see right here, we're just going to be looking at, you see how this makes this little like roundabout blue round semicircle, half circle? It's telling us that the whole thing, this whole angle right here, MNP, is 115 degrees. So we know that the whole thing is 115 degrees. Now, the missing piece is what we need to find is QNM, and we don't know what that is. So I'm going to put a question mark here. But over here, we need to know that the rest of this piece, PNQ, we see a little box right here. So we know that this is 90 degrees. So all we have to do is, what is 90? 115 minus 90 gives us 25 degrees. So this angle right here, QNM, is 25 degrees. So next, write your equation to solve. You could say 90 plus x, or unknown, that you can also call your question mark x, equals 115 degrees. Or you could say 115 minus 90 will give you X. So that's just a way that you can represent your unknown. Moving on. Last, we figured out what angle MNQ is. MNQ, we figured out that it's 25 degrees, so you can just fill that in, 25 degrees and 25 degrees again. So what if Laura cut a smaller square as shown? So what if Laura cut a smaller square as shown? Then that would the M and Q be different? And we're going to say, see how they put a smaller square here? No, it's going to be the same thing because the whole degree angle is not changing. You're not creating a bigger piece. So no, sorry, Girls on the Run is screaming outside. But no, it would still be the same because the whole shape didn't change. This whole thing is still 115 degrees. They're just adding another piece in there. So that's why nothing would change. Okay, 3. Jackie trimmed a piece of scrap metal to make straight edge as shown. What is the measure of the piece that she trimmed off? So this piece right here. Okay, this might not look like it gives you enough information, but it does. It's telling you that this angle measure right here is 225 degrees. And they're asking you, what piece is this? So you can see that this is obviously a straight line, and a straight line is 180 degrees. So this angle is 225. The whole thing, see how the blue goes all the way down to the piece that you need to find? So this whole piece right here is 225 degrees. You want to subtract it from 180 to find what this piece is. So this line is telling you all of this nonsense is 180 degrees. And we just need to figure out what this little piece is. To figure out that, you subtract and you get 45 degrees. And lastly, our last question. The map shows Marco's paper route. When Marcos turns right onto Chester Street from Main Street, what degree turn does he make? Hint. Draw a dashed line to extend Oak Street to form a 180 degree angle. So if you look at Oak Street, I'm just going to do what they told me to do. We need to figure out how much Marcos turns when he goes from Chester, onto Center Street from Main Street. So we're figuring out how much this is right there. Or you could see that it's like right here. X is right here. So you want to figure out how much this piece is right here. Okay, so you can see that the 125 degree angle they give you is between Oak and Center. And it's splitting it off right at Oak, this 180 degree line. So what I want you to do here is, it's really confusing, but since 125 degrees, you know that this angle right here is half of what we need to find. You're going to subtract 180 from 125. And you're going to get 180 minus 125 equals 55 degrees. So the 55 degrees is pretty much just telling you what half. So like right here, I'm going to use another color so you can see. I will use pink. You see how this 125 is about half of this? So right here, this is the 55 degrees. Now, you can also see on the other side, my purple marker's kind of overflowing. You can see this 90 degree angle. So this is 90 degrees right here. And I'm going to use the green the pink to fill in this. This is 90 degrees from here to here. So this is 90 degrees. So to figure out how big this whole thing is, 55 plus 90 would give you 145 degrees. Kind of confusing. I tried to make it a little bit easier for you. Let me just go over it one more time. So you're trying to figure out how big this whole entire thing is. You can see that the 125 is splitting it right in half. You're trying to figure out how much Center Street to Main Street. So this purple little circle, right? A semicircle. So 125 splits right at the halfway point. So you know that 125 minus 180 will give you 55 degrees. Now over here, you see your little box. So and half of that is 90. So to fill out the rest of our circle, you just have to add them both together to get 145 and 45.